My name is Denz. I'm the lead singer and guitarist in the band named The OBGMs. We're a punk band from Toronto, Ontario.
Amazing. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of fangirl a little bit. The first time I ever saw you guys play live, immediately, probably like 2 chords in, I was like, the power of this band.
When was it? Were we a 2-piece at the time?
I think there were keys involved.
Okay, yeah. So there's 4 of them. Yeah. We were pretty good by then, or we were kind of good at least. We're better now. yeah.
You guys have such a presence, and you have so much power when you're on stage, even as a 2-piece. I've seen you play in multiple variations.
Yeah. We're 3 now. We've been flipping it around. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, where does that power come from?
Drama class is where it comes from. drama class, lying to yourself on stage and telling yourself you're somebody else. Honestly, I got into music to meet people. I literally got into music because I had trouble meeting people, unless I was trying to be funny or unless I was trying to do something else, or I was introduced from somebody. I never ever could meet anybody. So I literally got into music because I wanted to find a stage that I could be on, so I'd have easier conversations with people and make friends. So and that's what the whole band is based off of, literally just making friends with people and making them connect with each other. So like that's the God's Honest Truthfest where it comes from.
I mean, that makes total sense. That's super powerful. Let's be a band. Let's make friends. Are you kidding? That sounds
fantastic. Yeah, let's make friends, man. I just want to make friends. That's literally, I just want to make friends that are cool people. I don't feel like I'm a cool person, but if I play this guitar, people treat me different. And if I get good at the guitar and maybe good at the shows, when we get off the stage, we can have lots of friends. And that's it. Maybe you got friends in different countries and all that type of stuff. So all of our shows, we try to make people connect, crash into each other, talk to each other, shout at each other, shout with each other, all the above, and like people leave like in a community. So it's really fun.
I love that, and like building community is actually, like, you guys do that. You do that through your work.
That's what we're about, exclusively. That's the mission. The mission is to connect people to each other, then connect people. Well, all right, there's a lot of different things. Connect people to each other. It's super important. Bringing awareness to the existence of BIPOC bands within the community is super important. I found that we're in Toronto, we're like one of the only punk bands that were Black fronted, and let's say Toronto, Canada. And then when I looked at it, I was like, there's none of us on Much Music, so nobody really sees us. I was the first one I ever saw on Much Music. And I remember that day, I was like, it's me and nobody else is on today. So in the States, there's a few, in UK, there's a few, but nobody can really identify 3. The common consumer, they maybe don't know 3 or 5. So, and those 3 or 5, they don't know each other. So they're not able to share voices. They're not able to go on tour with each other. They're not able to talk stories. They're not able to help each other advance, like actually mentor. How do I navigate this? You've encountered these problems as an older band. How do I navigate this? What do I ask here? Like, how do I get connected to this person in the industry that now that you might know, that might be open to listening to me? Bands are by nature a little bit competitive. The whole point of the band is to get people to buy into your band and wear your shirts and talk about you and yada, yada, yada. I don't care. I don't care about that stuff. No, I do a little, but it's not my primary motivator. My primary motivator is if I know you and you know me, and I've been in this for like 12 years, so I've made a hell of a lot of mistakes, and you're just getting into it, but you got a lot of talent. Guess what? I'm gonna tell you all my mistakes and you're gonna elevate. And if anything, don't give me anything. But now you'll know me. So if you know me, you'll think about me. And if you think about me, maybe we can work together in the future. And if not, maybe you can work with one of my friends in the future, because I know a lot of people. And that's the whole game. Let's just uplift each other. I know this person, let's connect each other with that. I know this person at Spotify, I know this person at Apple, let me connect you to this, and share resources. Yeah, that's the move. Or burn it down, one or the other. So, yeah.
But you see, like, this is it. I think you kind of nailed it at the beginning, which is like there's the way that you guys operate as OBGMs and in your own personal way as an artist, you believe very much so in the connective component, which is collaborative, which is kind of antithetical to the way the music industry was set up, which is competitive.
Absolutely.
And the way that you've kind of just talked about that, you know, like even bands that should kind of know about each other or have similar experiences, we don't usually actually get to kind of see each other because we're all kind of trying to get through this middle hub known as the industry.
Yes, absolutely. How do I get to here? I see this band. I personally feel I'm better than them, but they're there. I want to be them. And instead of talking to them, I'm trying to go around them. And that doesn't make any sense from a community perspective, like at all. It's just a wrong way of doing business. Technically, if we're really even paying attention to the way the world works, we shouldn't even care. We shouldn't even be giving power to these places. If we built an ecosystem within our own communities, my fans, I give you access to them, you give me access to yours, he or she or they give me access to all of theirs, and we just talk about each other, guess what? Our 5,000 now is turned into 1 million. So we don't need the industry. The industry needs us. So that's the root of it. I think people just kind of need to rethink what works and what doesn't work. And but that being said, I can't really question it. You know, everybody's gotten into it for a different thing. I got into it for this. I got into it for friends. I got into it to connect with people. I didn't get into it really for myself. Or that maybe I did, but myself is through with working with other people, I guess. So that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that, you know, like what you were talking about early on in the larger room was giving yourself permission as well to work in different ways and work in different mediums, you know. So, and that permission as well is, it feels like it's part of your practice, like your change practice. You know, if you are giving yourself permission, you're also potentially providing permission for a lot of other people, like you were saying.
Absolutely, absolutely. There are, as soon as we started getting a little bit more loud about it, like we've connected maybe 200 bands to each other now. Like these bands are following each other. These bands are posting each other's music, posting each other's pictures. We're inspiring bands that are much larger than us to start spreading the word, which is really what we want to do. If you're in a very big position of power, you should definitely be in on this so you can just uplift, because somebody else going up has nothing to do with your position. Your position is solidified. There's space on the internet is a vast ocean. There's space, so lifting somebody up doesn't knock you down at all. So a lot of people are starting to believe in it. Still got a long way to go, but it's a lot of work is being done. Yeah.
And when you talk about these 200 bands, I mean, that's a substantial number of bands and people and artists.
Yeah, right?
And
yeah,
that's remarkable. And I know you guys have been touring through Europe, and like, you know, there's a very different experience between Canada and Europe. But
absolutely,
it'd be really great to hear a little bit more, like learn a little bit more about, okay, so what is your approach when you're talking to another band? Is it super clear, like, hey, here's this framework, we want to do these things? Or is it you're developing a relationship? Or is it more happenstance? Like, what is your change framework?
Yeah, my change framework is it depends on the band, right? Because there are a lot of different types of people, especially when you're dealing with musicians. You have the standard artist, which, you know, they're not necessarily interested in anything except their art, and they don't necessarily want to talk about any business or anything like that. They just want to talk about the music. And for them, you have to frame it for them. I love your music. Your music is impactful. You are a leader in your music. And I want to do whatever I can do to amplify your message in your music, period. And just leave it at that. And I've made a lot of good connections just by doing that. But then there are a lot of people that are like, hey, can you help? Can you put us on your playlist? Like, we did an Apple Music playlist takeover recently. And it was a cool experience. I would say overall cool experience, because like for that particular playlist, we gave that playlist more streams than it ever got in 2020 at least, and it was just 70 bands on a playlist that are all from Black, Indigenous, or people of color bands, and Apple Music promoting it for a week in the States on their cover and 2 weeks in Canada on their cover. It would just be bands like, you know, saying, hey, would you be able to put me on this list? We have this single coming out, and it would be very, very helpful if you could put us there. Absolutely. Yes, I can. I can definitely do that. You know why? Because there's not enough of us in this space, and people are absorbing music through lists. Let's give them the list so they can now have an entry point, and they can build on that. And that's it. Like, so there's that way. And then there's complete business strategy way. Which is like I've had the ability to work in a corporate space before. Business strategy is my jam. I like it. That's my jam. So and talking about my horrible flaws is also my jam. So I've talked to just younger and upcoming musicians, and I've tried to take a mentorship role, being like, hey, guess what? 12 years in the industry, lots of it independent. We were in a band that was traveling into Europe twice a year for a very long time, and we did it with our own dollar from what we made from music. So like a lot of bands weren't able to do that. A lot of these science bands weren't able to do that, and this is how we did it. We would have been able to do it better if we didn't do this, and this. You guys don't do that, and a lot of people have appreciated that as well. Right, so. I just try to make sure that wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, I try to mention somebody else. Troy Irons, Danny Denial, John Crow, BlackRock with a Q, Elliot Maggs, all fire bands. I try to mention somebody else to look into, because if you don't like us, that's fine. You're gonna like one of them. They're fire. They're all different types of bands.
And I think like that's awesome. So you are. And I love that idea of like, hey, I also do strategy. So let me use all my skills, right? And kind of layer that change. You have that one-to-one individual artist to artist. You kind of have that mentoring component, which might be either you to an artist or maybe even bands to bands. I love the idea about just being clear with people. Like, wouldn't it be wonderful if I just understood what does it actually cost to be in a band? Yeah. Because I think also art is such an investment, and I think most people don't really understand that it's not, you know, you're buying a track for $1 a piece potentially, but the longer term investment to make those pieces or to make that work or to make that tour, it's still substantial money. And so so I'd love to know your thoughts on that. Like what I thought was really great about your approach here is that you're still willing to share information.
Absolutely, yeah, because their space doesn't take away from my space at all. People are playing shows when they are playing shows. They're playing shows all year round, right? So it will happen again when people are back in public and playing shows again. Like, I mean, it's happening now in the pandemic, and people are shoulder to shoulder. It's gonna happen again. So now we just kind of have to make sure we're ready for that, and I need to make sure my people are ready for that, and that their voices and their messages are heard. Sorry, my apologies, I forgot the question. The question is,
it was just this idea of like also like, you know, change is also an investment, you know.
Yes,
and what I think
costs a lot of money.
Yeah,
costs a lot of money, costs a lot of time. I've dedicated all of my adult life to trying to be a rock star, and I haven't made it yet, you know. But like, do I regret it? No. It's brought me joy. It's literally like my fiance is in house today, and I'm here editing videos for music and talking to other bands that want to do it, and I'm laughing. I'm having a great time, and like I wouldn't trade that for a world. Like, happiness is something that forget about your dollars. Like, why do you want money? Do you want money because of what? You feel it will make you happy? Okay, so what are some other things that can make you happy? And let's just get to the root of happiness and work on that instead. So it's because it's going to take your time. But being in a band has also taught me a lot about just relationships in general, relationship with yourself, honesty with yourself, relationship with other people, your bandmates, and relationship with the community, and the perceived relationship as well, because what you think is happening may not actually be what's happening as well. So lots of good experiences for anybody that's wanting to consider starting a band on their own, or wants to dabble in the music industry anywhere. Great learning experiences.
And punk is inherently a change, like a change.
Genre sport. Yeah, it's for this. It's for change. It's for promoting awareness. It's for being the anti-culture. It's for being anti-oppression. It's also for community. It's for inclusion. That's what punk is for. It's for standing up for something and raging against the machine. That's what the genre is for. So it was natural for me to pick up a guitar and want to be loud. So any move that we make, and we've tried the other way, which is the not loud way, the bashful way of not saying what you want, and that doesn't work. So being loud in your wants and your asks and your direction, I feel for us is essential in every platform. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I think that's very true. That idea, like I think one of the things that I always found so interesting playing punk from such a young age here in Canada was just how often, you're right, these bands, like the bands that I was influenced by didn't necessarily look like me, but I was there in the pit every time.
Absolutely. Singing the words, the chants, right? Because you connected with the words, you connected with it beyond your skin color, and you championed it off of that. Now imagine, Bandana, you saw somebody that looked like you, or you saw a band of people that looked like you, that were singing about things that your mom talked about, that thinking about things that you were going through, that things about things that, experiences that you had in the community that you were growing up. Imagine how much more that might have even connected you to something. And I'm not here to trash any other songs. Beautiful songs from a bunch of people. At the end of the day, beyond the music is what's the most important. But if you connect to that actual being, that person that's singing about where you're from, it's a different level. It's just a way different level. We've had the great opportunity to play a festival called Afropunk. We played the second one ever. We played it in Paris. We've played it in New York a few times. We played it in London. And I remember every single time I've played it, and we've played at festivals around the world, I've just been marveled by how many people of color are here. It's a lot. It's a lot, and it's beautiful because I really feel like I'm home. I feel like I'm home, and I'm playing music like I was in the room screaming by myself, and now there's people there. I feel like I'm home. I'm playing to my sisters, my brothers, and they're loving it, and they're not afraid. So it's just great. I just want to build that home everywhere.
I think that's so great. They're not afraid. I mean, I very much remember, so myself, my dear friend Daniel Trin, who's Chinese by way of Vietnam, and then my best friend Emily Weens, who's German Mennonite and Scottish, blonde hair, blue-eyed. And so the three of us together going to punk shows, like, we kind of look like the United Nations, like when we show up. But we've been seeing punk shows for 2 decades together, and we go on these road trips, and no matter where we go, that feeling of community and trying to be home, definitely on occasions, like Emily has stepped in as a person who's not a person of color, and has made it feel more comfortable, or has done whatever it takes to make sure that everyone feels,
you feel
included.
Super allies. Allies, until this year, I never thought we really had allies. And a lot of it is performative, right? A lot of it, but there are some people, especially in music. I don't know if you can ever meet a better person than a musician, man, or somebody that loves music. I don't know if you can. I don't know if it's possible. There are some people that will give you their shirt off their back in the scene. There are also some terrible people, but we're talking about the people that we love. I just feel that if you're ever going to start a community, why not there? You can unite over what goes in your ears. It goes in your ears the same way, right? So, and you guys are all connecting on that. And we're just looking at some different pictures of who's doing it, man. It's a great thing. Great thing.
Yeah, because one of the things that she found as well is like there just weren't many women on stages, right?
Oh,
And you know, again, it's the idea of punk as a change agent, really. I mean, that's the entirety of the whole movement or movements, right? Because they're like waves of it. And it's always really funny to be like, how is it possible that like I remember talking to someone in LA who was fantastic. Actually, he manages something called Razor Cake, which is a zine out there that's been around for 2 decades. And he was great, and he is, you know, identifies as this male, you know, and white, and he was great. And he said, look, we actually explicitly put out requests for women, you know, gender fluid, gender binary, trans people, because
all the above, yeah.
Absolutely, because he said he recognized that he's like, punk isn't just for guys, you know, it's a lot of different people. So I really appreciated him doing like the actual call out and then doing it all the time and then doing the work to make people feel included, even because you're right, it can be quite performative sometimes.
Yeah, so it's about $1 bill, right? Like at the end of the day. But I think the industry just needs more people that are willing to. So what I'm doing is for all these performers, all these black square posters, is luckily I come from corporate culture. I'm gonna send those follow-ups. I'm gonna hit as per my last emails. You know what I mean? So like, it's not with all due respect emails. You know, sending you a calendar invite 2 months in advance. I'm that guy. So that's the benefit of coming from corporate culture, is that I'll not let this up, and I'll do it in the most passive aggressive email way, or I'll just show up, right? So we just need more people to share talents to advance what we're actually trying to do. And if it is to get heard and it's to get seen, the voices of the unseen and unheard, we need to make sure that that's the goal and keep the eyes on the prize. Like particularly with women in music. What's the best way to put this? Women are making music. Women play guitars. Women are singing. Why are we not hearing them? Why is it? Why are we not? They are singing. No, they are singing. They are on stages. It is happening. It's a thing. It is happening. So it's unfortunately that the music industry is built off of systemic racism. And it's not in a way, and a lot of people, when they hear that, they get put aback because they think, how is music, the audio, based off of the color of your skin? And allow me to break it down for you. It's about $1. And if we're looking at it just from a very, very rudimentary level, major labels are looking to make money. They're not looking to place bets. Their bets are going to be based off of something that has won before. It's a race to get second place. And what has won before is the formulaic band that is often suburban white male. Talking about a sound that is very suburban white male, talking about stories that are very suburban white male. Like that's just what it is, right? I don't think you're intentionally looking at my skin saying not go with that. You're just saying I want to go with this instead. And by doing that, you're pushing me away, or bands that look like me away, or women away. So if you're promoting that and you're the biggest, most powerful figure, and now you are bringing your music to the Spotify's, Apple's, Amazon's, wherever it is, and you're saying, hey, we want to push this. Guess what? You're pushing white males. That's what you're pushing. And it's a system. Now that you're pushing white male, there's a supply of white male. There's oversupply of them. That's what people are going to consume. That's what's going to be in their algorithm. That's what's going to get prepared for them. That's what's going to be on their radio stations. And it's not because you intentionally are thinking, I don't want a black person, I don't want a woman, I don't want, no, it's systemic. You're thinking, I want to get $1, and I can get $1 by promoting this. And by doing that, unfortunately, the contrary effect is that you are not, bands like me, bands that look like you, women, fall through the cracks, period. That's how the institution is built, and I'm looking to burn it down, and the only way to burn it down is either get a seat at the table, put me on the board, or we do our own thing and start our own community. And separate note, I'm just going to start a label that's going to be based off of that. It's called Burn Industry, and you'll see it launch like the next 3 months. Yeah, it'll be fun times. So it'll be about burning the industry.
I'm kind of super stoked. I mean, I think it's so interesting. I mean, you just laid it out so perfectly, right? I mean, for an industry produces product, and that product needs to produce a revenue. So so it's hard. Yeah, it's really hard when you're dealing with commodities like music, commodities like artists, right? And so I think you're entirely correct that there's not necessarily, the explicit, like you said, I'm explicitly excluding, but it is
No,
very explicitly including.
that's what it is.
Yeah, it's the explicit inclusion.
Nobody's looking to hold the black man down. Nobody's doing that. They're just looking to make a buck, and by doing that, you're impressing us. And that's what it is. So having that conversation with someone to listen to it is good.
What I thought was also great was you said, "Put me on the board," and I agree. And I agree. And I sit on many boards, and I get asked quite often to do so. And I always struggle with, will I be on this board? I know why I'm here, right?
You know why you're here. Yeah, absolutely. You know why you're here. Let me check this box. Let me check the box, right? And that's a huge responsibility.
And then having those conversations with people and with some of my friends, and I said, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And they're like, well, look, and one of them said, you know, you still do your punk thing, you still go do your movement, your community, and how we build, right? Like, you and I are community, right? Like, to me, that's always going to be there. But one thing that they kept identifying was like you said, the money still is attached to certain spaces and certain things. And so if there is the opportunity to even just break a little bit of that shell in some ways, at least then they can't say that it wasn't told, they didn't know.
The bare minimum, right?
The bare minimum.
That's what they'll do. And like, it's really just, it's honestly, whoever gets in the door, whoever gets a foot in the door, it's the toughest for you, because one, you're in a space where you know what the reasoning is behind it, and it's very, very performative. And now when you are looked at by both sides, people in your community and the business, people in your community are going to be like, why are you there? People on that side are like, why are you there? And how are you going to open the door? You have to be there. You have to be there. Like, you just have to. You have to have that voice. But it's going to be tough, because I think the responsibility is for people in that position is to be loud and bring somebody else. All right, cool. You've got this person. Hey, have you considered this person, this person, this person, and this person? Great. Let me send you their contact. Great. Let's advance this discussion, because I feel like I'm here for this. And no judgment. I feel like I'm here for this. So if I'm going to be here for this, you know what? I got 20 other people as well that should be here too. Let's do that. Let's set it up. Aggression.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Aggression, that's where it's at, and just using that aggression in all the many different ways, and just talking to you about your change practice has been phenomenal, and I love the work that you do, and I literally have been wanting to have this conversation for a really long time. I have a project I've been working on for years called Punk Diaspora, and it is about exactly this. And so I was able to go to Los Angeles and Mumbai, and you can see the different types of ways to do punk, and so I was able to interview a couple artists here, but I really love to like team interview with you and the whole team to just to have that chat. So this was amazing, and like just super rad, and I know you're gonna love this. Is there anything else as we just kind of close up here you would like either the city of Brampton's performing arts to know, or maybe some musicians in Brampton to know about change in art? Or
I would wrap it up by saying that for any artist of color, or even non-artist of color, or whatever it is, you are the community. You are powerful enough by yourself to make the change. You have family, you have friends, and likely you have somebody that feels the same way that you do. So don't be quiet, be loud, and put it out there, and you'll be surprised where you go with it. And that's it. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised who connects with it. And don't stop. Don't stop doing it. Yeah.
Don't stop and put it out there. Sounds great.